Hey Cedar Valley, it's Grant here with the Devotional for you this evening. I'm calling this one, How Do We Talk to God? Have you ever had a conversation with somebody when you feel utterly insecure? And I'm not talking about that feeling shy in front of your hero or someone you look up to. That's a different feeling. This one is more like a conversation you might have with your boss, especially when you've been phoning it in for the last couple weeks and you feel a little bit underwhelmed by your performance. Here's an example of a real world story I experienced for something like this. When I was in college, I often had many better things to do, like many students, than just study and write good, book reports, or at least good ones. Specifically, I had one class that was heavy on Old Testament and history book reading. And I mean like heavy, heavy reading. It was a huge draw, like names and numbers and places that I could barely keep track of. And in this class, I was barely scraping by, and not because of my performance on tests, but because I had this problem of barely completing most of my assignments. And the professor, he was brilliant and passionate. I loved learning from him, and he was compassionate too, because he gave me a chance to make up for my lack of completing assignments. But I didn't make the best of that time either. So I got through it, but not with anything to brag about in that class. And needless to say, especially at a small Bible college like Columbia Bible College, the professor was disappointed with me, and it kind of had a lasting effect on our relationship, student-teacher relationship. Now, fast forward several years, my work ethic has massively improved. I hope some of you would agree. I've been hired as a pastor here at Cedar Valley, part of the same denomination, in fact, affiliated with this Bible college, and I'm actually a voting delegate at their annual general meetings. So I show up at a meeting, one of the first ones there, and I sit down right beside the same prof, who probably still didn't have the best memory of me as a student, and if he remembered me at all, it wouldn't be positive. What do you say at a time like that? Do I fake it to sound more brilliant, like I've gone through this huge life transformation and when I got struck by lightning? Do I, try to defend myself with a bunch of excuses and explanations? And the reality was, sheepishly, and what's most common for a lot of us, I remained awkward and I kept the conversation pretty small. And you know what? I know for myself, I do this same thing every day with God. How am I supposed to talk with him? Because I'm rarely more than 24 hours away from the last time I disappointed him. And I make this excuse, this is my excuse at least, and I think it's a lot of our excuses to keep dialogue with God small, unemotional, rehearsed, and overly professional, or really inexistent. And so this is a thought that's been on my mind today. Even, I was trying to come up with and craft something brilliant and basic. I even thought about just recording a little song for worship, and constantly just disappointed by my relationship with God that's been over these past couple weeks when I've got so much time to speak with him. And so I went to the scriptures, which is my encouragement for you to head there first. But this is a passage for you that came up. And really what it is Cedar Valley, God doesn't desire a scripted conversation with us laced in brilliant words that try to convince him we're somebody else. God doesn't desire small talk from our insecurity either. And what he wants is us yearning for him, to bring our insecurities and our lack of good words and really all of our awkwardness, to bring it to him. So Isaiah 1, chapter 1, verse 18, gives us a perfect picture of God's invitation for us to come to him. He already knows everything about us, all the stuff that we've done, all of our burdens and messy piles, and yet his invitation stands to come to him. In fact, he acknowledges that these burdens might be keeping us away from him. So he says, bring them to me, bring your faults and your shortcomings and your sin. In fact, he says, bring your sin, red as crimson, I'll make it white as wool. Bring your burdens, I'll make it all right. Just come to him. So I hope that this can be an encouragement to some of you to remove our excuses, and hopefully that this can help us further deepen our relationship with God. Thanks for listening, Cedar Valley.